Is there any way I'm gonna get out of this with honor and dignity?
You're pretty much down to ritual suicide, Lammy Toes.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, already today, I have learned something. I have learned that my furnace takes about 17 and a half minutes from the time it kicks on to the time it shuts off to heat up the house, the 2 degrees that it runs. And so, that's good to know because I'm guessing that the microphone on my phone is going to pick up the sound of the furnace, and that won't be good. So, pretty much drown out everything. So I have to wait for 17 and a half minutes before I can actually do any recording or edit all that part out. So I've been sitting here patiently for the last 17 and a half minutes, waiting so we can do this. And also what this will also tell me is I'll be able to, when I go back and edit this, I'll be able to tell exactly how noisy the furnace is. I do know that in the last video I did, my daughter was walking around upstairs and I could hear every bit of it on the video. So I'm guessing that it's going to pick up the furnace quite well, especially since it's all of about 3 feet behind me. So yeah, I have no doubt. So anyway, let's move on to what we're going to do today. So today, you can see I've got a lot of green, and you can probably hear the dogs upstairs. I apologize for that. You can see I've got a lot of green paracord, and this is just regular OD green paracord, 550 cord that anybody that's been in the Army, for sure, has seen this paracord many a times. And that's what I used to buy at the PX and all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, we only had black and green. So, yeah, so this is just the regular OD green. And you can see, here's my bracelet. And it's actually got this green. The core is black. And then I have, I don't see the other color combination here. But the middle is basically like a camouflage, like a green and tan camouflage as well. So I don't have that here on my bench. But anyway, so that's my bracelet, and I've worn this virtually every day since I put it together. So it's kind of dirty and nasty, but it can get cleaned. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make ourselves a survival bracelet. I've never actually done one of these exactly like this. And so the goal of this one is to make it so we can use this entire length of paracord and keep it for a survival situation. So what we have here is about 11 feet of paracord. So what we need to do first is we're going to find the center. And the way we do that, we just take our 2 ends, we marry them up, and then we're just going to pull this through our hand like this, and just so that way we're keeping them even, and we're just going to pull that till we get to the center here. Now, you don't have to have this jig. I'm going to use this jig just because it's going to be a little bit easier for me. If you had like a nail or something, that would work out really well. So, and like I said, I'm just kind of winging this. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but here's what we're going to do. So we're just going to put it up on the one end. We're going to take our center point. We're going to loop it around this end. And then we're just going to cross them over at the bottom here. So the bottom, we just go on either side of this post here. So we have a left and a right. We're going to go on either side of the post. We're going to cross them over and around and then pull them back up to the top. Okay. So, and this is the same, I've got the jig set up for the same length here that I used on my last video of these, and that's at 8 1/4. So it's 8 1/4 from basically this edge here, right up there, to this edge down here. So basically from post to post, it's 8 1/4. Okay, so already, if we got 4 of these, we've already got 32 inches right here. So nearly 3 feet of cord right through here. So now that we're like this, all we need to do is just basically start our weave. Okay, so I don't know a real good way to get started on this, so let's just kind of do it, right? So first we will, now let's do this. To start it, we'll go around like that, because it always kind of helps to have it kind of coming down towards us instead of away from us when we're starting these. So we're going to go down, around, and then this will allow me to actually make our loop this way, right? So, and again, we're just going to do the same loop that we did before, the Solomon knot. Okay, and so what we're doing here is we need to kind of pull this all kind of tight. So we're just going to pull it tight, not so tight that we actually mess up our jigs, so we got to fix that. I pulled it so tight that I moved the jig. We'll have a lot of wasted cord. Now, I don't even know if this is going to be enough cord. Like I said, I've never done this exactly like this before, so we may actually run out of cord before we get it done the way we need to. But it's part of the experiment. I mean, I do have another bundle of this. This has just happened to be, I had 11 feet of it sitting around, and I thought, well, let's see if this will make us a survival bracelet. So we're going to give it a shot, see what happens. So we're going to pull it good and tight, and I think what I'm going to do, now that we have this good and tight, I'm actually going to take these, and again, sorry for the dogs, I'm going to take these, I'm just going to clamp these off. These just some simple forceps. I'm just going to clamp those off so it'll kind of hold that tight for me, right? So I don't have to be using constant pressure to hold everything there. So let's go ahead and get started. And I believe the reason why the dogs are going crazy is because my daughter's probably home from school. So, yeah, isn't that exciting? So after we get our first knot in here, we're going to be all right. So what we need to do is we need to get that first knot up here quite a ways, because this loop up here, this loop that goes around here, or these loops I should say, these are going to be that's going to be the area where we're going to, you'll see it, we're going to cinch up this whole thing through that. So that's how we're going to tighten this whole thing up. So here we go. And you'll notice, because of the fact that we have more core pieces, that this bracelet's going to be a lot fatter, and the pattern's going to look like it's looser than the last one. You know, before I only used 2 core pieces, and now I'm using 4. So it makes a big difference on that. Also, it's going to force you to use, when you use 4 core pieces, it's going to force you to use more paracord to do the pattern. So as a result, if you wanted to make a survival bracelet like this, it's naturally just going to give you a fair amount of paracord. So a survival bracelet like this will result, especially, you know, if I can make this something that somebody could wear, it will result in a decent chunk of, let's go ahead and take that off. Now we got some knots on there. It'll give you a decent chunk of paracord that you can use for survival type situations. So I've got this like this. What I'm going to do, now that we're kind of here, I'm actually going to loosen up, I got to get it off the jig somehow. So that's one of the things about using a jig like this, is once you do this stuff, you have to be able to take it off of the jig. So as you can see, that's a pretty decent sized hole. It's actually going to probably be too big of a hole for what we're going to need, but we'll see if we can't do something about that. So let me just kind of snug this up, and we'll stick it up here by itself. Okay, so, and this also gives me an opportunity to show that you can continue doing this knot even when you don't have a jig, right? So one of the things with these knots is, in order to be able to tighten this up, one of the things you can do, and it probably would have worked if I would have stopped like here and taken it off the jig, is you can kind of, see if we can do this, pull it up, and you can kind of see there, the hole's getting a little bit smaller. You can still see daylight through there, but you know, potentially, and maybe, oh, it's not any smaller, but so potentially, if we just stuck these forceps, which is, these are fairly small forceps. You know, I used to have a lot bigger forceps. If we just pull that through there, and then we'll just kind of try to work it up through there, maybe, just maybe, we can kind of tighten that up. So if we are too good, and we do pull that up there, then potentially we could pull all those knots right off of the thing, and that would be no good. That wouldn't serve the purpose that we're trying to do. But there we go. We got it. Move a little bit. There we go. Oh yeah. So it moved a fair amount. I wish you could have felt that, because it felt like it moved a good solid 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and keep doing with our thing here. Now, the important part is how we're going to end this up, right? So, is how we're going to make this end. So we're getting pretty close here to the bottom, which is good. And I'm not sure how to do the bottom. I'm not sure how to close this up. You can see how close we are. Not sure how to close this up, but we're going to try. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to experiment here with you guys all here with me. And as we start getting shorter, you can tell, normally when I put this over like this and I cross over, I'm kind of folding this. You can see I kind of fold it and push it through, but sometimes when it gets shorter, you can just push the end through like that. All right, and then we're getting closer to the end. And the point of this end part is just to make sure that it doesn't pull itself through. Right? You need something to be able to make sure that this doesn't pull itself through. So we've still got, let's see if we can do this. And I think I showed you guys before in my last video, I showed you the fids, right? So the fids work great because I can use this to put the paracord through here, use it to feed through, and that's no problem. But not everybody has fids. I mean, they cost you a crap ton of money, all of about $3.50 on Amazon. So I know they're expensive, and you guys can't all afford them. Likewise, you know, joking aside, not everybody's going to want to order some fids just so they can make 1 or 2 paracord bracelets either. So, I mean, if you don't have much use for them, I got them because I knew I was going to end up making quite a few. But you may have some forceps or something similar, and let's see if this will work. So I'm going to feed this up through, and we'll do this one first. That one there, and then we'll put this one here, and so we can pull them both through at the same time. No, probably not. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Through one loop. There we go. Oh, we only got one through. So we got this one through. Let's do this other one. Okay. So we got one through. Grab this one. It's hard to pinch both of them at the same time. Okay, so we've pulled both of these through, right? And that's going to help. That's going to prevent this from sliding off the end of this loop, right? So, and then we got to come over to this other side, right? And then we got to feed up through here these loops as well. So we're going to get our forceps. We'll pull this one through, right? And we can see how stiff that is. And I feel like I'm digging for like shrapnel or something. Okay. Okay, now we got both of them through. Now, after you do that, all you have to do is basically tie these things off in some way so that way they can't pull back through. Now, unfortunately, if I don't get these tied off just right, I will definitely never get my hand through here. This is going to be the one that's going to cause us the most problems because it's the shorter tail, right? So if they're both just as long, we'd be all right. So let's just see if we can put a nice simple little stop knot type thing in here. And I suck at knots. I don't know. Was never a Boy Scout. Don't know nothing about knots. I know they can be advantageous. I know there's all kinds of fancy special ones that you can use, and but I don't know any of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a knot. Okay, so we just made a simple little knot, and my goal is to get this knot as absolutely as tight back on itself as possible, because then that is going to prevent it from coming apart and pulling back through. So as long as that one's there, this other one shouldn't pull back through. But we're going to do a similar little knot with it, which should be simple enough because we got more to work with here. And in this case, I don't care if both sides of the bracelet line up, right? I really don't care. It's serving its purpose, and we didn't waste any of this paracord. The goal was to have a bracelet that we could wear. Let's see if my hands will fit in here. Oh, it's just a little bit too small. If the wings were a little bit longer, like this extra inch, I could probably squeeze it on. But it's okay. Ugh. Oh, man. I'd love to be able to get this thing on. Oh, well, I can't get it on. Can't get it on, but that's okay because it's not really the goal is to make myself a new bracelet. It'd be cool if I could have kept it, but the point, let me take that one off. So the point was to actually also show you, now that you have the bracelet, let's say you're wearing it and go, oh crap, I'm in an emergency situation. I need to survive. I need some cord. So the point is you can then either cut these knots off or untie them, right? And you really only have to do one, honestly, because if you do one, you should be able to unravel this entire thing. Let's see if we can do that. Probably not. We probably will need both. I mean, it is they call it a Solomon knot, which means it takes two to tango, as they say. It takes two sides of the string to make that knot. So here, there we go. So we get all done, and then it's just a matter of undoing everything that we did before. So we just pull these apart, and it takes you a little while, but you can easily pull all these apart, and once you do that, then you're good to go. Not that in my opinion, I don't think this one was terribly difficult. The hardest part is really getting started. Helping to have a jig to hold all the cords together while you're getting started, right? So you can get all these cords kind of twisted together in the middle, right? So when we get done, let's just verify how much cord we have. So if we, again, like I said last time, this mat is 18 inches. So if we go one end to the other, we'll just carry that over. There's 3 feet, 4.5, 6 feet, 7.5, 9 feet, 10.5, and then we come out with another just under 10.5 inches. And also, as you go with the thought that I wasn't stretching this out, so, you know, we've got 11 feet of cord here, essentially. 11 feet of cord can be very handy. So, hopefully everybody liked that. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more different things. Like I said, I'll do another survival bracelet. Like I mentioned, one that's a tad bit simpler. I'll show you that one, and I'll actually make that one so it'll fit on my wrist. And then from there, maybe I'll show some different types of bracelets if you guys want to see that, different weaves. And then I've actually got a modified Solomon knot that I kind of came up with. Maybe somebody else has done it before, but I hadn't seen it. And so it was just something I happened to be thinking about one night. And I was like, oh, I want to try that. And it gives it a slightly different look and everything. But it's kind of interesting. But if you guys are interested, we can show you that as well. So give me the old thumbs up and all that kind of stuff if you guys like it. And hopefully you come back for more. Thanks. Bye.
Boy, that knock to the head must have been harder than I thought, because I'm seeing crazy things that I don't even understand.